I know nothing, seriously. Balance down to 92,382. So in my margin account, you know that I've got 4 open positions right now on the SPY ETF. They all started off as put spreads. Some of them are still put spreads. The July put spread was at 305, so of course it got completely breached today when the SPY reached 298. So I decided to mitigate against it, to start selling call spreads. So you can see here, I sold the 323, 328 call spread against my 305, 300 put spread. Same expiry, same width. So basically the put spread, I turned it into an iron condor. And since I can't lose on both sides, so basically the call spread the premium that I'm collecting from the call spread acts as a hedge, because I'm reducing my max loss in case the SPY continues to drop. But if the SPY continues to drop, I'm going to bring this call spread closer, all the way to 305, 310. I was actually hesitating whether I should already bring it to 305 to begin with. So turn this trade into an iron butterfly. So have the 305, 300 put spread with a 305, 310 call spread. I would collect in total, combined credit, about maybe $3, $3.50. But I wouldn't be giving myself a chance to win in case the SPY comes back up. So I don't want to make assumptions. So that's what I mean by I don't know anything, is I don't want to guess where the market is going. I don't want to assume that it's going to drop now. I don't want to assume that it's going to come back up. I just want to be as mechanical as possible. And for me to be mechanical right now, it is to sell call spreads against this put spread that got tested today completely. I've got 2 others that got tested actually. I've got the 304 and 303 that got tested, but I'm going to wait a little bit because the 299, 298 long strike just got tested today. I mean, right now the SPY, look at the SPY, it's trading at 302.7. So right now these 2 aren't that dangerous. This one, even this one I would say is not that dangerous, but when it was trading at 298, I had to take action. So that's why I sold at 323. So I still have room to win with this trade if the SPY decides to come back up. And I sold a new put spread today, July 13 expiry, at a 285. So as you can see, because the market fell, I was able to pick a strike that's much further. So these ones have a 304, 305, 303 short strike. But then this new one that I sold today has a 285 short strike. So this one becomes safer. Doesn't mean that it's a guaranteed winner, but it's definitely safer than the first 3 put spreads. And in fact, if I had sold it yesterday, which was Thursday, if I had sold it yesterday at the end of the day, I could have gone to a 280 strike because the SPY was trading at 300. I sold this morning when the SPY was at 307. That's why I was only able to go to 285. But obviously, if I had waited till the end of the day or even midday, could have gone further to maybe 300. But that's the thing. I don't know where the SPY is going. I don't want to make assumptions. I don't want to guess. And I started leaning towards selling naked puts instead. So instead of selling the put spread, I was thinking of selling the naked put on the SPY 1 week away. Look what I could get. If I sell the naked put, let's say at June 19 expiry, so next Friday, and I sell it at a 285 strike, which is the same strike I sold today, the put spread. I'll just click anywhere here and then make my adjustments in this order entry window. So I'm going to pick the 285 strike. And as you can see, I could collect, right now, I'd be able to collect about $1.55 for the June 19. It was around $3 this morning. Wow, that dropped really quickly. Could have made 50% already in one day. All right, so let's say I take the 290 strike then, because 285 is not enough premium. So let's say I take the 290. Gives me about $228 or $228 if I do one contract. So if I click sell, click yes, confirm short order. As you can see, the maintenance excess is about $5,000. So it's a lot of maintenance excess, but I'm collecting $227. And the advantage of selling the naked put is if this 290 strike gets tested next Friday. So first of all, there's a higher chance that this trade becomes a winner. But if it does get tested, I can always roll it for a credit. So I don't have to accept a loss. I can always keep rolling for a credit. And I showed this in a previous video, but if I wanted to simulate an in-the-money option, an in-the-money put option that I want to roll forever, that I want to roll forward, I simply just choose a calendar put just to simulate it. And let's say I wanted to buy the June 12th expiration, which is today, Friday, and I wanted to sell the June 19, for example. So 375 put. So this 375 put, we can admit, is completely in the money, right? Because the SPY is at 303, the put is the strike is 375. So this option here is completely in the money. And look at this, I could roll it for a credit of almost $1.50. So even if your put option is in the money, you can still roll for a credit, and that's one of the biggest advantages of selling naked puts. The only problem is it requires a lot of capital. The more in the money you are, the more capital requirement you need. So that's the annoying part about selling naked puts, is it requires a lot of capital. But if you do have that capital, then really I think it's a strategy. It's a strategy with no loss potential. As long as the underlying that you're using is an underlying that will always recover. That's why personally, if I would sell naked puts, I would sell it on the SPY only, because it's the only underlying I trust will always come back to its original trading price. But an individual stock can drop and you might never see it come back to that price again. All right, so if you remember my covered call on the Qs, I was a little bit in trouble because my short strike on the covered call is 213, and the price of the Qs was around 245, and my purchase price was 221. So I can't afford to sell my shares at 213 when my cost is 221, and the stock is way high. Right now that it's coming back down, it's actually giving me a chance to roll the call option forward for a credit and even move the strike higher. So for example, the way I would do that is click create order, remove the shares here, add a call, click sell, and then I would choose a date after. I would be buying back the June 26th, but then I would choose a date after June 26th, of course. So let's say I choose the July 17, and I try to go for a 214 strike. I could do it for a credit, as you can see here. I could do it for a credit. And if I go for the 215 strike, let's see if I could do it for a credit as well. I could do it for a small credit. But yeah, so I wanted the market to drop, but obviously not by that much. But at least it's going to help me for my covered calls to get out of this mess here. In my RSP though, I was already somewhat slightly in trouble. And I had sort of a similar situation in my RSP with IWM, but it wasn't that far away. But now it's become much safer. So I actually rolled it this week from here, let's look at executed. I rolled it from June 12, 148, which I definitely didn't have to. But I obviously didn't know that the IWM would drop to 136. But I rolled it from 148 to 150, expiring June 19. And I did it for a credit. So as you can see, I keep collecting credits while I'm rolling my call option. So now all this means now is I want by June 19, I want IWM to stay below 150. My cost on IWM is 151. So this week I was back to my cost even higher, but it took a big drop after that. But at least I'm not losing on the covered call, and eventually it'll come back up. Even if it drops, eventually it'll come back up. But I'm trying to generate income or an extra gain by selling covered call options. But sometimes when I'm selling a call option that is below my purchase price, then there's the risk that I lose my shares at that strike, which is below my cost. But the reason I do it is because so if the stock drops to 100 and my cost is 151, I can't sell a call option at 151. So I'm forced to sell a little bit lower. But since I do short term, so only weekly, I try to go as far out of the money every week to collect income, to collect premium, to gain something out of this position that's right now completely down, right? And in my RESP, I rolled my covered call trade on Dell. So I remember I bought the stock at 40, it flew to 49 and then dropped to 46. So I had a June 19 expiration, so it expires next week. I rolled it to October 16, so I went 4 months out. The same strike of 40. So 40, I don't care if I lose my shares at 40 because I bought it at 40, but I collected a lot of premiums on the way. I mean, just today I collected $200 of premiums all the way till October. So it's an annualized return of about 13%. And then if we look at executed, so this one was today, $200 today, and then $180 last month, and then $180 from May to June, and then $170 from April to May, $124 from March to April, and then there's another one here that doesn't show because it stops at 3 months, but I think I collected another $90 and another $45. So all this just by buying the position and selling call options against it. And who knows, maybe by October the Dell drops back down to 40 and I could do it again and get a better return. And if it just keeps going higher, well, then I'll just get my money back, get my $4,000 US. The premiums are already mine. I don't have to give them back. I made a decent return on them. I get my money back and I look to deploy it somewhere else. But I didn't know that Dell would jump from 40 to 49 and actually back down to 46. So instead of worrying about this fluctuation, the stock price fluctuation, I'm just selling call options at the same strike price, collecting whatever I can collect. Sometimes it's more than if I just bought and hold, and sometimes it's less, but at least it's more guaranteed, it's more known. So now my main concern is obviously these put spreads that could become losers. I have to get ready to mitigate them or sell call spreads against them. But as you could see, if we look at, but you can already see that the SPY is back up to 304. So it's a good thing I didn't sell call spreads at the exact same strike as the short put. So I wanted to actually sell the 304, 309, and then the 303, 308, and then the 305, 310 call spreads, turning these trades into an iron butterfly. But I felt like, let's be mechanical. Let's not make assumptions. Let's not assume that the market's going to drop. Let's also not assume the market's going to fly back up. Let's just do what we have to do. And I'm basically selling call spreads a bit far. Collected, I think, $50 or $60 today. I actually collected $60 from that call spread. Yeah, collect fill price, $60. Taking it week by week. So if you have any questions, leave in the comment section below. Like always, if you're going to open an account with Questrade to trade on the stock market, use one of my referral codes below. One of them gives you up to $250 back depending on your deposit, and the other one gives you $50 in free trades regardless of your deposit. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button, share with a friend, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.